Om Namah Pranavartaya Suddha-jnanaika-murtaye Nirmalaya Prasantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-pada Sankaram Lokasankaram Arunagiri-mupedam Sachidanandamurtim Ramana-iti Prithivyam Vishrutam Jnana-suryam Gahana-hridaya-vidyam Leelaya Bodhayantam Satatam-ahamameyam Sadgurum Samsmara. Good pranams. In Anma Bodham, last time we saw the verse 28, where Shankara says, Atma jadais tenaihi na avabhasyate. Jadaihi, he is referring to all the antahkaranas, like the mind, the intellect and others. And he says, they are jadam, they are inert. They cannot really light up the self. They get the light from the self, they cannot light up the self. That is where we stopped. And we will proceed to the next verse today, the 29th verse. Almost the same theme he continues in a few more verses also. So I will read out Bhagavan's translation. Vilakkin uruvai விளக்கிட வேறு விளக்கை விரும்பா விதம்போல் விளங்கும் அறிவுருவாம் ஆன்மா அறிந்திட தன்னை பிரிது அறிவு வேண்டப் பெறாது. ஸ்வபோதேன் அந்யபோதேச்சா போதரூபதயாத்மனः ந தீபஸ்யான்ய தீபேச்சா யதா ஸ்வாத்ம பிரகாசனே. The key word is swatma prakashane. It reveals itself. And there is no other light that is needed to show the Atman or to reveal the Atman. Vilakkin uruvai vilakkida veru vilakkai virumba vidam pol. Adi Shankara uses the word icha. Icha here means not desire, but the necessity. There is no necessity for another light to light up a light. This light is required to light up all the objects in this hall, and we need that light to see the objects in this hall. If this hall is, dark, but when the light is glowing, you don't need another light and shine that light to see the light. You don't need anything else. So the truth here is, the Atman is all the time shining within. The last verse, we saw that the buddhi cannot light it up. The buddhi, we cannot catch it. Because buddhi is jadam, basically. The intellect is not having any consciousness of its own. So we cannot use the buddhi. Buddhi is all we have. Manas and buddhi is all we have. So if you really want to catch the Atman, in this verse the answer comes. We are saved because the Atman is fully revealing itself. We don't need anything else. It reveals itself. It's all the time shining. And why don't we know it? Because of the ignorance. Because of something veiling the Atman. All the time, the Atman, which is Swaprakasham, which is shining all the time, every time, here and now it is shining, but we don't know it mainly because it has been hidden. Hidden by what? By our wrong knowledge that we are this body. So, the ego which rises up in between the Atman and the body has the capability to completely hide the Atman. Just as the clouds which are created by the sun has the capability, at least for some time, to completely hide the sun. It cannot permanently hide the sun, but at least for some time. So it looks as though the sun has been hidden. In a similar way, our own ego that rises up from this ignorance, because of the ignorance, it is completely hiding the Atman. Maya has got two modes of operation. That's what I said. Maya or ignorance or whatever, it has got two modes. One mode is known as veiling, avaranam. The other mode is vikshepam or projection. The real is hidden, the unreal is projected, and it parades as though that it is real. That is our problem. We are catching hold of the unreal. We think that that is real, and we forget completely this Atman. So this Vikshepa Shakti and also this Avarana Shakti, these two things are the ones that are projecting the unreal, and we are not able to know the real, though it is there within us all the time. It is there within us all the time, is something that is repeated ad nauseum. It is really required for us to really keep on hearing this. Because we hear this and then we forget it, and then we go and then wander around in this world. That's why it is repeated again and again wherever the opportunity arises. It is there with you all the time. You know, in the wakeful state, we have both the effects of Maya, both the effects in the sense, the effect of projection. We are projecting a world. We are seeing a world outside. And at the same time, what is inside is also hidden. The Atman is completely hidden. Same thing happens in dream in a less intense manner because of the fact that Indriyas are not operational at that time. So this Avarana Shakti and the Vikshepa Shakti together bother us completely, and what we see is only this unreal world, this unreal appearance of the world, and not the reality. So what is hidden? I said that the name given for that is Avaranam, but the activity is known as Agrahanam. We do not catch this. This is known as non-apprehension. We do not apprehend it. And in the wakeful state and the dream state, what happens to it? That activity is known as Anyatha Grahanam. We catch hold of something other than ourselves. An unreal object, we catch hold of during the time that there is Vikshepam, and during the time when the reality is hidden totally, that is known as Agrahanam. The interesting thing is, what people say is, scholars, sages, what they say is, this Vikshepa Shakti is something very difficult to conquer. It will keep on appearing. Bhagavan said once that even for a jnani, this appearance of the world keeps happening. Thoughts arise all the time. Even for a jnani, even after enlightenment, this Vikshepam will continue to happen. Only difference is the jnani knows where from these images are appearing. He knows the source of the whole thing is his own self. So he is not confused. But for him also, this keeps on happening. They give the example of a mirage. You know, you see in a desert a mirage, and first time you may be fooled into thinking there is water, but once the knowledge arises in you that this is only because of an optical illusion, later on, even if you keep on seeing it, it will keep on coming up. You are not going to go after the water there. Similarly, a jnani knows that this is an unreal appearance, and he does not go after the world. But for him also, this Vikshepam keeps on going. So what they say is, you must first conquer this veiling aspect, this avaranam. You have to attack that first. And what is this veil? Full of vasanas. All our vasanas, all the old tendencies. They are accumulated, the dark mass covering up the Atman. The tiny hole of the heart is covered up by this dark mass. And our effort should be to keep the mind, pay the attention to that place, keep the attention of the mind on that, and the vasana chayam starts happening. When they are exposed to consciousness, these tendencies, these accumulated tendencies, they will keep on dissolving themselves. And once the veil lifts, then the Atman is now revealed, and you are no longer bothered about the Vikshepa Shakti. But the effort can be made only during the wakeful state. The other two states are not going to be useful for this. The wakeful state, which suffers this double whammy of avaranam as well as vikshepam, this is the only state that is available to you to look within. So what all needs to be done is for the mind to turn inwards and look at it. So, as I said, the key word is Swatma Prakasham. The self is all the time announcing its presence. Notice it. It is there as a reflected consciousness in the buddhi. And this light is something that we see. We see this light. We see this light. And that is the I thought. What we have as the I sense is nothing but the sense of the self. It is leaving its footprint there. So Bhagavan says, retrace, catch hold of it. With the idea of, finding out what is the source of this light within me. And that is going to take you there. And slowly, this light expands in intensity. But the only thing that one has to do is tirelessly turn the mind and catch hold of this particular light. That's what he says. The Swatma Prakasham is going to help us in this. A lighted lamp does not need another lamp to illuminate its light. So too, Atman, which is knowledge itself, needs no other knowledge to know this. In Devika Lotram, there is a beautiful verse which we saw in our previous, classes. Natra kinchit bahihi na antaha na madhyam napi adaha. Adaha means below. Nothing is outside, nothing is inside. Napi agaha kvachit. Sarvakaram nirakaram swasamvedyam virajate. The word is swasamvedyam. Vedyam, knowable. Samvedyam, very well knowable. Swasamvedyam, you can know it yourself. So Swasamvedyam, says Ishvara in his advice to Devi. This Swasamvedyam explains the whole thing. The import of the verse, the Anma Bodham verse, is there in this word Swasamvedyam. It is not anywhere else. It is immanent. It is within you. Just at this time. The most ancient is something that we are carrying with us all the time. Even before anything started becoming existent, this was existent before that. And that is what we are. And that's what we do not know, unfortunately. And Bhagavan says, constantly turn the mind in order to catch this. In many places, Bhagavan says this, no one can deny his own existence. You can deny everything else in life. But how can anybody deny one's own existence? That is a clue for you. You cannot do that. This I amness is not an ordinary thing. We are just not noticing it at all. I amness contains all the clue for you. This is a key. This is the doorway for the Atman inside. Open the door. Knock on it constantly. One day the door will open. That's what he says. In one of the talks, I will just read out a beautiful sentence of Bhagavan. To see external objects and the world, mind and its reflected consciousness is needed. To see the world, mind, and within the mind there is this light, constant light of the consciousness. It is filtered through this thick vasanas. This is the lens or a mirror through which the intense light of consciousness is filtered through. And it is very feeble, but it is still there for you to catch it. And that is falling on your buddhi. So he says, to see the self, the mind has simply had to be turned inside. Nothing more needs to be done. You need to turn. So the first step in Atma Vicharam is ahamukam. What happens is we turn, but the force, the wind from this vasanas is so heavy, the mind is immediately flips. immediately it flips to the other side. Turn inside, immediately it comes out. That is because of the force of the vasanas that have accumulated already. This is what we need to attack. There's nothing to be discouraged about. When the meditation of the Atma Vicharam begins, when the mind becomes Bahirmukam, there's nothing to be worried about because this is but natural. We have gained all this thing over so many lifetimes. It's not going to go away by a 1 hour of a feeble attempt at Atma Vicharam every day. But progress will be made. Bhagavan says in one place, the impulse of your determination is what is important. The impulse of your determination. If the determination is strong, my Guru has said this, he must be right. I have no doubt because I'm able to see him function in this manner. And that gives you the impulse. That gives you the determination to hang on and do that. That's what we need to do. And there is a verse in Upadesha Saram and also Muruganar's own verse, beautiful verse in Ramana Padamalai. Arivaya Tannai Ariyavo Andri Arivikkavo Veru Arivi Illayam Padam. Yes, Padam he uses for Bhagavan. Bhagavan Ramana says, he says, Arivam Tannai, Arivaya Tannai. We are knowledge itself, we are consciousness itself. Ariyavo, to know this consciousness. Arivikkavo, to reveal this consciousness. Veru Arivilayam. There is no need for anything else. It's there with you. All the sadhanam is available with you. You don't have to go anywhere else. Sattva bhasika chitva vetara, asks Bhagavan. Chit kwa itara. Is there any need for another consciousness to know this consciousness? Consciousness and existence, they are together. They are not two different things. Sat cannot objectify Chit and Chit cannot objectify Sat. They are all together. We cannot do this. Supposing we say that maybe there is a Chit which is different from Sat, assuming, hypothetically speaking. To know that consciousness, one more consciousness will be required. And this is an infinite regression. There is absolutely no end to it. You cannot come to a conclusion at all. So it is totally. And if you are going to say that existence is separate from consciousness, it would mean that consciousness does not exist, is it not? If you remove existence from consciousness, it would amount to saying that consciousness does not exist because you have removed existence out of it. So the whole thing is totally unreal. And it is what is kutarkam. It is like illogical kind of a statement. So they are together always. Sat and Chit are always together. Shiva and Shakti are not separate. They are together. It's always there in the particular thing. Sattva bhasika Chit kwa itara. Sattayahi Chit Chittayahi aham. The Tamil Upadesha Saram is even more beautiful. Ulladu unara unarvu verinmayan. Ulladu unarvahum undipara. Unarvena mayulam undipara, he says. Unarvu, consciousness, are no two things. There is only one thing. To know this ulladu, to know this Sat, Unarvi is there along with it. There is no other Unarvi you have to look for. The next verse, the 30th verse, as I said, this is a section where this Atma Lakshanam and how to reach the Atman is given in. There are repetitions. What is said in a previous verse, said a little differently, meaning the same thing. But these repetitions are actually designed into the entire text. It is required for us to really go back and then keep on looking at it again and again. So this verse, I will read out Bhagavan's translation first. Neti neti vakinal niki upadiyalam midiyam jivanma midila adiyam paramanmakkalin aikiyama vakiyangal cheppuvadorndu teli. Mahavakya, whatever they say, understand those Mahavakyas and then within yourself you bring in clarity. That's what it says. Nishidhya nikilopadhina. You should remove continuously. You should keep on rejecting the anatma vastu from the atma vastu. Whatever is alien to you, keep on removing it. Nikhilopadhine neti neti iti vakyataha. Use this technique of not this, not this. I am not this mind. I am not this buddhi. I am not this body. When there is an acute pain or some such thing in the body, we should remember, I am not this body. If you can really remember that, when there is a pain, then we are there, almost there. But this is what you are supposed to do. Because you are not really one with the pain, one with this body. You are away from them. Nishidya nikila upadhine neti neti iti vakyataha vidyat aikyam mahavakyaihi jivatma paramatmanoho. Jivatma and paramatma aikyam. That aikyata is what is mentioned in all the Mahavakyas. Use this technique of rejecting, discarding anything that is not your own. This deham, I'm able to see this deham. This deham cannot be me because I am the seer and this is the seen. The drishya vivekam, you can employ in all the 5 koshas. You are able to see the thoughts in your mind. I am not these thoughts. I am the seer of these thoughts. I am able to see the decision-making capability in my buddhi. I am able to see the decisions falling in place. I am not whatever goes on in the buddhi. I am away from the buddhi. So in every manner, it is possible to discard. Keep it aside. And then go to the very core of your own self and then remain there. When you keep on discarding everything, a time will come when there is nothing to discard. Everything has been discarded. There is somebody who is remaining there. And that is what is mentioned here. Niki upadhi elam Midiyam jivanma. Something remains there. Midiyam jivanma, says Bhagavan. There is a jivatma. He has removed everything and he exists. And this, what is existing, is no longer the jivatma. He has become the Paramatma. Because no upadhi is now sticking to you. All your vestures are removed. And what remains is only that. And that is the stage one has to reach. By this neti margam, neti margam is suggested in the Upanishads, and then it's a traditional method of doing the thing. I will come to that a little later about the discussion on neti. Though Atman is self-luminous, the upadhis, that is the 3 bodies, they conceal it. This is the avaranam that we discussed about. So, by removing them, you are actually removing the veil that is concealing the Atman, and you are able to go there. So misapprehension, that anyata agrahanam will automatically go. Once this agrahanam leaves from you, that wrong, that non-apprehension leaves you, you will be able to do. There is a story in Bhagavan's life, a very well-known story. Last time also we saw that, but it is worth repeating that story. Extraordinarily beautiful story. Bhagavan had a devotee by name Professor G.V. Subbaramaya. He was a professor of English in Andhra University at that time. And he used to bring his family to the ashram every now and then. Once he brought his daughter, a 5-year-old daughter by name Indra. That girl, a very curious girl, going in the hall here and there and all the thing. Once she picked up a book. It was a Telugu book and she knew how to read Telugu. And then there she saw something and went to Bhagavan and showed it. What is this? She asked. Bhagavan read that thing. That is that Eka Shloki, Deham Mrinmayavat Jadatmakam. There, the first words of each sentence, one is Deham, Naham, Koham, and Soham. That's how the verse is organized. So she picked up the first word of all the things, and then she said, Deham, Naham, Koham, Soham. When Bhagavan heard this, he immediately turned to her and then said, yes, that's it. That's a mantra. Repeat that mantra all the time. So whenever that girl was there in the hall, Bhagavan would coach her. Tell me the mantram. She would repeat, Deham, Naham, Koham, Soham. Keep on repeating it. So that used to be a, a play between them. Every time the girl comes, for a few times, she will repeat that thing. And Bhagavan would. And one day she wanted to know the meaning. So Bhagavan started explaining the meaning to her. He told her, you are wearing this skirt. Are you the skirt? Pavadai. Are you this Pavadai? She said, no, I am not this Pavadai. Similarly, you are wearing this body. You are not this body. That's what it says. Deham Naham means that. Just like this, the dress that you are wearing is not you. The Deham that you are wearing is not you. So when he was explaining in this manner, Vishwanath Swami was there in the hall. So it seems he was a little skeptical about a 5-year-old girl being tutored on this Mahat Tattvam. So it seems he expressed his, doubt. How can she understand this? It seems Bhagavan immediately he turned to him and then very strongly he said this, oh, you think understanding is the only method of knowing? You see, he is giving a distinction between understanding and knowing. Knowing is something that is more intimate to you. Understanding is something that happens in the buddhi. You think that only understanding will lead you to knowledge? You have understood everything, but have you known? Bhagavan normally does not use such a harsh word. But he asks Vishwanath Swami, you have understood everything, but have you known? It seems he was stunned into silence, Vishwanath Swami. And then he continued explaining the rest of the verse to this girl. And it became some kind of a ritual between them. Deham Naham Koham Soham. This process of neti, he was explaining to that 5-year-old girl. A time came for that girl to leave the ashram. So she and her father went to meet Bhagavan on the morning when she was leaving. Bhagavan was returning from his walk. And then the professor told Bhagavan that today we are leaving. So he turned to that girl, Bhagavan, took his walking stick and gently tapped her on the head. Remember that mantram. Repeat after me. And once again, he said the same. Deham. Constantly repeat this chant. He told her, 5-year-old girl. Constantly repeat this. She went back home. Within about 2 months' time after this, she fell critically ill, that girl. But even at that time, she used to chant whatever Ramana Tata had told her. Deham Naham Koham Soham. Constantly repeating it. At the time of death, she was not worried about anything. In a very calm and a very peaceful manner, with this mantram in her tongue, she left the body. Professor was grief-stricken, of course, but the way in which this girl, till the last moment, in a very conscious manner, without giving up this mantram, the way she left the body, made him feel, it's not my girl, it's an advanced soul which has occupied this young body. So he thought that he should give her a burial fit for a jnani. And I believe he made a samadhi in the backyard. And he had these things. Deham, Naham, Koham, Soham, written on that stone. And when he visited the ashram later, he informed Bhagavan, this is what happened. And I thought that she should be given a samadhi. Bhagavan, it seemed, nodded very approvingly. He did not say anything, but he nodded very approvingly. So we really cannot say who can grasp what kind of a thing go inside and work and what time it will happen. It can happen to anybody at any time. The talker may not be benefited, but somebody who is listening may pick it up and then something may happen. It would happen. You're waiting for a time, waiting for the mantram through somebody to enter into your heart and start its work there. So this is a moving story of Indra. Deham mrinmayavat jadatmakam. It is a jadam. Aham buddhirna tasya asti. Ato naham tat. This body is not me, naham tat. Because it is a shell and it is inert. And then he continues, he gives one more reason as to why the body is not you. The two reasons he gives. The second reason comes now. Tat abhava samaye, abhava sukti samaye, siddhatma sadbhavataha. He says, tad abhava supti samaye. Supti is the deep sleep. The second reason is, this body is jadam. It cannot say I. So it is not, you are not the body. Plus also, in addition to this, when you are deeply asleep, in your deep sleep, you don't have any experience of this body. Abhava supti samaye. In some of the ashram publications, instead of abhavam, you would see a word apetam. For a long time in the older versions, you would see tatta apeta supti samaye siddhatma sadbhavataha. About this also there is a story. It seems Bhagavan was explaining the meaning of this verse to Balaram Reddy later on. After Bhagavan's passing away, Ganeshan collected a lot of information from a lot of devotees about what all used to happen in Bhagavan's presence. He used to publish that in so many booklets. So Balaram Reddy told this story to him. It seems when Bhagavan was explaining this, he said, I have given two reasons and all the thing. Then he said, my choice of the word was abhavam, but Kavyakanta felt that apetam is better. So he removed that word abhavam and then put apetam. He just, in passing, he remarked this. So after this was published, then they found out in some other archives it is abhavam, in some other archives it is apetam. Then they decided to bring it back to abhavam. But even today, you will see some other versions talking about apetam. Now, what is the difference between apetam and abhavam? Why would Kavyakanta try to make a difference? Abhava means non-existence. According to Bhagavan, according to his experience, body is non-existent. Apeta means not appearing. It exists but does not appear. In deep sleep, body exists but it does not appear to you in your experience. That's what Kavyakanta thought, that is the better method of doing it. So he changed it. But if you look at Bhagavan's earlier translation of Viveka Chudamani, many of you may know, in 1911, the earliest of Bhagavan's work was translation of Adi Shankara's Viveka Chudamani into Tamil in a prose form. Not poetry, not Vanba, but a prose form. He has done that. A marvelous creation, actually. Every verse of Viveka Chudamani is a huge work. Every verse of Viveka Chudamani, in a couple of words, Bhagavan will bring the essence and then put it there. A marvel of prissy writing. So there, in a place where he talks about the deep sleep state, where the three bodies are discussed in Viveka Chudamani, Bhagavan uses the word abhavam. As early as 1911, Bhagavan started using the word abhavam for this body. In his experience, this body does not exist. What is unreal has no existence. Bhagavan's, what is unreal? It is not real because it does not stay with you all the time. Where does it go? Where does it come back again? It does not endure. This state of this body does not endure. It keeps on going and coming back, going and coming back. How can you give some reality to this body? It is unreal. When something is unreal, it is non-existent. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, says Krishna in the second chapter. Asato na bhavaha vidyate. That which is unreal cannot exist in reason. So, applying that logic, Bhagavan uses this thing, tattad abhava sukti samaye siddhatma sadbhavataha koham bhavayutaha. This koham bhavana, it is a bhavana. Bhavana is something that is deeper than thinking. You don't employ your mind when you do this koham vicharana. It is something beyond the mind. There is more involvement of consciousness in this koham vicharana than in a normal meditation. There is no mental movement. It is not a mental movement. It is a conscious movement. Koham bhavayutaha kuto varadhiya, he says. Kutoham, koham, kutoham. Employ any one of these things using a very pure and a sharply focused dhi, varadhiya. Drishtatma, nishtatmanam, ko soham spurtitaya, arunachala shiva, purno vibhati swayam. He ends the thing. So anyway, deham naham, koham soham, and this is a mahamantram. As Bhagavan told that to that girl, he has not told that to anybody else, but to that girl. Maybe he knew. Of course he knew. This is what is going to happen. So it went into her at the right time, worked within her, and she was able to shed the body, fully immersed in the truth of this mantra. And this Viveka Chudamani verse, about which I talked in connection with the last verse, I will mention this verse where he says, Shankara says, Vikshepa Shakti Vijayo Vishamo Vidhatum. This Vikshepa Shakti is very difficult to conquer, he says. Nishesham Avarana Shakti Nivritya Bhave. Only when you can remove this Avaranam completely, it is also possible for you to remove this projection, this Vikshepa. So all these verses are connected together. So he says, with the help of the Mahavakyas. So I will just go through the Mahavakyas just for completion's sake. All of us know this. But anyway, there are 4 Mahavakyas from 4 different Vedas. They are all Upanishads belonging to each Veda. Prajnanam Brahma. This is a Rig Veda mantram. Aitareya Upanishad has this. Prajnanam Brahma. This Prajnanam Brahma is known as Lakshana Mahavakyam because it defines the Atman. This is Lakshana Mahavakyam. You first of all listen to this Lakshana. The Atma Lakshanam is something that you grasp. That is the beginning. First stage is you know what is it that you are really attempting to be. So first you know about it. And what is said there? Consciousness is Brahman. Unarvena mayulam undipara. This unarvu alone is Brahman. Consciousness alone is Brahman. The second Mahavakyam is of course the most famous one. Tattvamasi Chandogya Upanishad Samaveda Mahavakyam. This is known as Upadesha Mahavakyam because it's a guru gives as a Upadesham to the Shishya. Once you know something about the Brahman, then you hear from the Guru's words, mouth, that you are that, Tattvamasi. That is the second Mahavakyam. The third Mahavakyam is from the Atharvana Veda. This is Mandukya Upanishad. I am Atma Brahma. Atma, I am Atma Brahma. You keep on meditating on me. I am not different from Brahman. Keep on meditating on this particular thing. This is known as Abhyasa Mahavakyam. Lakshanam, Upadesham, Abhyasam. And finally comes Anubhuti, Aham Brahmasmi. This is the Anubhuti Mahavakyam. This comes from Brihadaranya Upanishad, Yajurveda Mahamantram. These are the 4 Mahavakyas, and this is the significance. And Bhagavan, in his characteristic universal vision, he adds, I am that I am from Bible as a Mahavakya. He says, this is also a Mahavakya. I am that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Also he used to once in a way talk about. Everything is mentioned in this, he used to say. Every single word. Be, stillness, no, I am, God, everything is there in this. What more can really describe him? So he used to add this to Mahavakyas also, to our own Mahavakyas, and he says that keep on putting your mind, keep revolving amongst them. Let these things revolve in your mind constantly. And that is the way for you to really give up all the ignorance about the Atman, and then go and then catch hold of the Atman. Avidyakam sharirati drishyam budbudavat etad vilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. Avidyayal anavaya aham is a word that Bhagavan uses. Aham means body. Ahamudar kanum ivai kumili pola அழிவு எய்தும் charam. Budbudavatu charam says. Shankara, he says, Bhagavan says here, அழிவு எய்தும். இவற்றின் அயலாம், different from this, apart from this, அமல அகம் பிரம்மமாம் என்று அயராமல் என்றும் அறி. அயராமல், tirelessly. That is the most important thing. This process is not about speed. Process of Atma Vicharam is not speed. Nobody expects you to reach there in 1 year's time or 2 years' time. It is all about endurance, staying with it. The determination not to move away from this, not to doubt this, but stay with it. Ayaramal, without any tiring. Don't get tired about it. Constantly do this. And once you are able to reach a stage where the flow of the thoughts, they start decreasing, the stream of thoughts, they are bound to decrease. The flow is bound to decrease at some time or the other. Then you will know that from the peace within, and then you get more and more interested, more and more interested. But at some time, the balance tilts in your favor, in the sadhaka's favor. All the vasanas which have been tormenting you all the time, slowly they disappear. And the time comes when the entire stream of thoughts, they dry up. That is when the balance is totally on your side, tilts to your side. So till that time, don't give up. That's the only thing. You are not required to, really do it in a. Some people have obtained it within 3 months' time, 6 months' time. Bhagavan took a few seconds, and don't keep any of these things in the mind. It can happen at any time. Only do not give up hope about it. Keep doing it constantly. It's a very simple step. Turning the mind inside, looking within, catching hold of your own eye sense. That's all. So if you are able to stay with it, nurse this feeling, then you are there. I will read out something that Nisargadatta Maharaj said. Before that, I think everybody knows about Nisargadatta Maharaj. Anyway, I will say a few words about him. He was a very ordinary person. He was a BD maker. He was a seller of BDs, that raw cigarettes, country cigarettes. He used to roll them and then sell them. He had a small shop. One day, a friend of his told him, he was known as Maruti at that time. His earlier name was Maruti. I am going to meet a sage near Pune, near Nasik. Siddha Rameshwar Ji Maharaj. I want to see him. He is a great jnani. What do you want to come? So he went. There was no intention before that, but he went. And he was with the Guru for some time, few days, and he was absolutely convinced about the Guru, the genuineness of the Guru. And what he said went directly home, because you must have finished all the other things in the previous janmas. Into this person, totally illiterate, did not pass beyond the 4th class or some such thing. He was absolutely captivated by Siddha Rameshwar Ji Maharaj. He came home and he describes, he said, my Guru said that I am not this limited jiva. I am not this limited person. I have limited myself. But I am that infinite consciousness. That's what he said. It must be true. So he gave himself into looking at himself, staying with that I am feeling. That's what he says. I stayed with that I am feeling. And within 3 years, a total change came over me. And I gave up. This idea of being a jiva. It's so simple a description about what happened to him. He says in one place, and Maurice Friedman has captured this. He says, the feeling that I am neither this nor that, and that nothing is mine, is so strong with me that the moment a thought arises, the realization immediately follows, this is not me. The moment a thought arises, there is this feeling that this is not me. Over a period of time, he completely chipped off the connection between the identity of the consciousness with the body. That identity was snapped off by this constant meditation on this I sense, which is the meeting point. So when this happened, then full realization happened. Aham Brahmeti Nirmalam. Bhagavan says, Vigraha, Indriya, Prana, Dhi, Tamaha, Naham. He says the same thing. Vigraha is this body. Indriya, Prana, Dhi, Tamaha. Tamaha is this Anandamaya Kosham or the Kosham of ignorance. Tamaha, he says, because it is ignorance. It is something of a veil around you, though it is a very happy state. Anandamaya Kosham. So all the 5 koshas, he says in these words, na aham, I am not this. And we have to add one more aham for the completion of that. Aham ekasat. Aham ekasat. Tat jadam hi asat. All the other things are asat. I am ekasat. This is what you should remember every time, every moment of your waking moment. You should have the constant feeling that I am not this limited individual. Keep your mind focused on that thing, and you will be able to see the benefit sooner than later. So with that, I will conclude today's. Thank you.